are these people?
Kind of being on the opposite end of the spectrum. So we heard some touching stories from kids, but we're going to hear some rage baiting like movements from adults.
Yes.
And these adults are ones who have a lot more control from us, a lot more control and privilege than us. So we're going to get into the Super Bowl a little bit. As I said earlier, didn't watch, didn't care to watch. But this ad that featured Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady got a little press, especially on Twitter. I think it could be looked at, if you looked at it on a service level, like for altruistic reasons, maybe.
Yeah.
But deep down, and you probably could figure this out, there's a lot of nonsense and a lot of corruption surrounding this commercial, and especially these two.
Yes.
So, and the people
and the
that
Super
are
Bowl in
behind them
general,
that are actually,
you know,
right. And we'll get more into that later when we talk about Kendrick. But shout out to who wrote
MacLeod.
Alan MacLeod.
I brought him too today.
Who wrote this? Who wrote this up? Where he writes, Tom Brady and Snoop Dogg's Super Bowl ad isn't what you think. Here's who we find it. Now, due to copyright, we're not going to show it.
Yeah.
You can find it on Twitter. It's a short ad. It's like 30 seconds, but basically go back and forth and basically,
yeah, they're like,
I think the whole
I hate you because I don't understand you. Well, I hate you because you smoke too much weed. Well, I hate you because you don't smoke enough weed. I hate you because you hate Dr. Seuss. I hate you because you love Dr. Seuss. Pretty much, right? I mean, just flowery bullshit, similar to that Kamala Hope, thing. It's very, paid for by the ADL, right? Or something close to it.
We'll get into it, though. We'll talk about it. Well, actually, Alan talks about it. Football star Tom Brady and rap legend Snoop Dogg will appear in a big money Super Bowl ad denouncing hatred. The ad is paid for by the Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism, a group staffed by Israeli lobbyists that attempts to equate opposition to Israel's destruction of Gaza with anti-Jewish racism. The group was founded by billionaire owner of the New England Patriots, Robert Kraft, who is one of the pro-Israel lobby's most generous benefactors. We've talked about Kraft
we have.
A while ago. He's a bad dude. Kraft has used his power to attempt to crush the nationwide Palestine solidarity movement on campus and the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. So Alan continues, as they tune in to watch the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Kansas City Chiefs this past weekend, hundreds of millions of Americans will also be served up something they're not expecting: pro-Israel propaganda. Hall of Fame quarterback Tom Brady and rap star Snoop Dogg are set to appear in a big money advertisement for the Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism that will air twice during the Super Bowl. The ad features Brady and Snoop hurling insults at each other before both conclude that hatred and intolerance in America would have become so bad that we have to do a commercial about it. The FCAS was founded in 2019 by New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft to counter the growing wave of anti-Israel, pro-Palestine sentiment across America. Kraft, net worth $11.8 billion, has sunk hundreds of millions of dollars into the foundation and dozens of pro-Israel lobbying groups and politicians. Thus, although it is titled No Reason to Hate, hence the title of this segment, and its message is not explicit, it is clear that hatred in this context means opposition to the state of Israel's treatment of its neighbors.
Yep.
The ad, which has already been released on social media, has garnered a mixed response, to say the least. Many commenters suggest that this is the latest and most embarrassing thing Snoop Dogg has ever done for money.
Which he also performed for the president's inauguration, and that's a pretty close second, So,
For real? Damn, it must be true.
Super Bowl commercials do not come cheap. We all know this. Fortunately, the Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism has backers with seemingly limitless funds. The FCAS was founded, in their own words, to stand up to Jewish hate and all hate by inspiring Americans to become active allies in the light. The FCAS has received hundreds of millions of dollars since 2019, including 2 $100 million donations from Kraft and the Normal R. Rouse and Ruth Rouse Foundation. However, upon closer inspection, it becomes clear that the FCAS is simply another pro-Israel group using the language of anti-racism to crush grassroots opposition to Israeli actions abroad. Firstly, many of its key figures are former Israeli officials or lobbyists. For example, the organization's Director of Partnerships and Strategy, Clara Schwartz, previously served as a secretary to multiple Israeli ambassadors to the United States. Meanwhile, Maya Buki Dabi, FCAS Chief Philanthropy Officer, is the former director of AIPAC, the principal Israel lobbying institution in the United States. The FCAS asserts that anti-Semitism incidents have skyrocketed in recent years. The basis for this claim, however, is data from the Anti-Defamation League, who specifically include peaceful pro-Palestine protests as examples of anti-Jewish hatred, meaning that any expression of sympathy or solidarity with Palestine and its people could be counted. The ALD's CEO, Jonathan Greenblatt, has not only alleged that anti-Zionism is inherently anti-Semitic, but even saying that anti-Zionism is genocide. Explaining his position, he insisted that every Jewish person is a Zionist. It is fundamental to our existence. That is not true. This will likely be news to a large plurality of American Jews under 40 who, polls show, consider Israel to be a racist apartheid state, of which, shout out to Indy, who is over that age, is also anti the state of Israel. On this website, the FCAS takes
Norman Finkelstein. These are. I just love how stop anti-Semitism. Meanwhile, people are Israelis are berating Torah Jews for their beliefs. They're giving pagers to Norman Finkelstein and others. It's just is that not anti-Semitic? Is that not hate crimes?
Right.
If we're gonna be like that about it, not to mention all the despicable things done to Palestinians who are also Semitic. Funny how that works. And don't go looking into the DNA of, the people of Israel. You might find some other bad news there. You might not be as Semitic as you think, So, tough world out there, ain't it? It's tough.
But anyway, on this website, the FCAS takes a similar position to Greenblatt, listing anti-Zionism in the same bracket as Holocaust denial or support, seemingly equating the two. All right, so let's talk about this guy here.
Yeah.
Kraft, who made his money in the manufacturing and packaging business, was one of the key figures in suppressing the recent wave of pro-Palestine protests across American universities. The epicenter of the movement was Columbia University in New York. The billionaire is one of the institution's most important benefactors, donating millions of dollars, including $3 million to fund the Kraft Center for Jewish Student Life. This gives him considerable leverage over the university board. In April 2024, Kraft publicly announced he was cutting Columbia off from his lavish funding over its failure to suppress the protests effectively enough. I am deeply saddened at the virulent hate that continues to grow on campus and throughout our country, he said in a statement, claiming that Columbia was not protecting its Jewish students. Soon after, the university authorities called for the police to destroy the demonstrations. Hundreds of students were arrested, and some were suspended and faced deportation. So again, talking about Trump deporting, this is under Biden at the time. So was the outrage for Biden being willing to do this over people who are pro-Palestine? Israel does not have a moral law friend, Robert Kraft. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu once said of his close associate. Netanyahu is right. The Jewish state is a primary driving force behind Kraft's politics. The 83-year-old plutocrat married his wife in Israel in 1962 and has made over 100 visits to the country since, including many meetings with successive prime ministers. He is also one of the principal sources of money for the notorious Israel lobby in the United States. In 2022, for instance, he gave $1 million to AIPAC's Super PAC. Indeed, it sometimes seems that there is barely a pro-Israel group he has not underwritten. Other organizations he has made sizable donations to include the Friends of the Israel Defense Forces, the ADL, the Jewish Agency for Israel, the Committee for Accuracy in Middle East Reporting and Analysis, also known as CAMERA, Stand With Us, and the Israeli Project. But the most significant way in which Kraft inserts pro-Israel policy into American life is through donating to Israel-friendly politicians standing against progressives and other advocates for justice in Palestine. In 2022, for example, he funded Congresswoman Shontel Brown's campaign against Nina Turner. At the time, Brown was a relatively little-known but strongly pro-Israel candidate standing against a Democratic Socialist, the national co-chair of Bernie Sanders' 2020 election campaign, and an outspoken critic of Israeli government policy. Vast amounts of pro-Israel money flowed into Brown's campaign, helping her to defeat Turner. In her acceptance speech, Brown praised Israel and later thanked the Jewish community for helping me get over the finish line. Other pro-Israel Democrats Kraft has funded included David Sitzline, Juan Vargas, Ted Deutsch, Jake Auchincloss, and, probably most famous of the bunch, Richie Torres. In addition, his own organization, Touchdown in Israel, regularly organizes publicity trips to Israel for NFL stars, hoping they'll become advocates of the Jewish state. So he is in this deep. And this is probably one of his acolytes, more than likely, Mr. Tom Brady himself, one of the players that Kraft has personally taken to Israel in his own star quarterback, well, former star quarterback, Tom Brady. The two traveled there in 2006, meeting Prime Minister Ehud Olmert and visiting an IDF military base. Brady was even baptized in the Jesus Christ, like
funny,
baptized in the Jordan River. Wait, he isn't even is he even Jewish?
No, but that's still Christian Zionism. Remember, that's a thing. You know,
true.
And it's also it's like it's where Jesus was baptized, allegedly, right? By John the Baptist.
Yeah.
I remember my Bible study. You know?
The trip clearly made a deep impression on Brady, who remains an outspoken supporter of Israel to this day. He was vociferous in his condemnation of the October 7th, 2023 attack. There should be no gray area about condemning Hamas terrorist attacks on Israeli citizens. No human deserves this, he wrote, adding, the devastation in Israel is tragic and unacceptable. The murder and violence against innocent people by Hamas is terrorism. He also promoted highly questionable assertions of mass sexual violations carried out against Israeli women by Hamas. All of us must mildly condemn sexual violence wherever it occurs, he started. He has not, however, said anything of the well-documented cases of mass sexual violence against Palestinian prisoners by Israeli forces.
Yeah.
He also has not said shit about the sexual issues allegedly against his former boss. But I digress.
I mean, don't worry. You don't need more reasons to hate Tom Brady. There's plenty of those. Right. You know,
like the one that
always have
forced his ass.
Right.
Today, he is the face of the FCAS campaign. The Foundation to Combat Anti-Semitism is doing incredible work, and I'm honored to stand with them in the fight against hate, he said. This Super Bowl, football is on my mind, but so is something even bigger, building a world where hate has no place. The No Reason to Hate campaign isn't just a message, it's a movement. Oh, God. I am proud to be a part of it, and I hope you join us. You added, no thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
The yoke of the devil has been destroyed.
Ugh.
So moving on from one show to this one. The inclusion of Snoop Dogg is part of an FCAS attempt to target Black communities specifically. The ad is part of a broader campaign that includes partnering with historically Black colleges to, in FCAS' own words, develop social change initiatives and continuously improve the Black-Jewish alliance. This partnership includes bringing people together, bringing together the United Negro College Fund and pro-Israel college group Hillel International together for a unity summit on February 7th, which will bring Black and Jewish college students together under one roof with the shared mission of combating hate. The event will feature panels from notable Black sports stars and a keynote speech from Kraft himself. Israel and its advocates are losing the Black community. A 2024 poll found that African American support for Israel's genocide is greatly lower than that of the rest of the country. Over 10% of Black respondents said that Israel's military actions since October 7th were justified. In comparison, a plurality of white Americans, 33%, said they supported Israel's attack on Gaza. Black Americans were also much more likely to support Washington exerting diplomatic pressure and restricting military aid to Israel than the population at large. The reasons for this are manifold, but many Black leaders, as well as movements such as Black Lives Matter, have allied themselves with the Palestinian cause, seeing parallels and connections between the oppression of Palestinians abroad and the treatment of Black Americans at home. As such, Israel has a serious PR crisis in the Black community. Hence, the attempts to reach them through sports and music.
Yep.
Which I find very insulting, honestly.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, it's as insulting as, Popeyes joining up with Don Julio. That's the way it's, right. And it's like, yeah, it's like you might as well throw grape soda in too, Like,
right.
Seems fucking racist as shit, but that's just me,
Right. As if Black people are not capable of, right. learning about the cause any other way.
Yeah.
So sports and music, like the two things that Black people care about, seemingly. So anyway, this is not the first time the FCAS has attempted to target African Americans. Last year, the organization debuted another Super Bowl commercial featuring Clarence B. Jones, the former advisor to MLK, who drafted his famous "I Had a Dream" speech. The ad's message was that there was a growing wave of racist intolerance across the United States, and that we all must come together to oppose anti-Semitism. It ends by instructing viewers to visit the website standuptojewishhate.com. The pro-Israel lobby has long understood that it has a serious problem with the Black community. Emails released by WikiLeaks revealed top entertainment executives bemoaning their inability to convince Black Americans to support Zionism, and it's discussing tactics to achieve this end. And I have a theory. We'll get into it later.
Okay.
I wonder if Jay-Z is a part of this. Sure. Well, I'll explain why later. Given Super Bowl.
Yes.
The lobby found a powerful ally in hip-hop mogul Russell Simmons, the co-founder of Def Jam Records. Simmons suggested that what was needed to improve Israel's image was simple messaging from non-Jews, specifically from Muslims, promoting peace and Israel's right to exist. We have resources and desire to win rather than lose the hearts of young Muslims and Jews. Simmons' emails revealed the existence of a vast and well-funded psychological operation targeting the Black community. As he put it, we have hundreds of collaboration programs between imams, rabbis, and their congregations. We have many respected imams who would join former Chief Rabbi Yonah Metzer, Rabbi Mark Schneider, and non-Jews in promoting the Saudi peace plan. Through his campaign, we will be helping Israel, he concluded. Israel may have been able to find Gaza, but it has failed to win the global war of public perception. A Morning Council poll last year found that the country's favorability dropped in 42 of the 43 nations polled. Even wealthy developing nations like Japan, South Korea, and the UK view Tel Aviv negatively. In the United States, support for Israel is also dropping, particularly among young people and people of color. Its supporters are acutely aware that the colonial project would collapse without support from the U.S. government.
Yeah.
This was the prime cause of the TikTok ban last month. The platform was not sufficiently censorious of pro-Palestinian voices for Washington's taste. So we've talked about this too. They mentioned China, when actually it was really Israel that was.
And when TikTok came back, the first thing that was banned, Free Palestine. Can't say that on there. So, you know what happened.
Right. It is also the reason for the massive propaganda operation being launched on the American public by the Foundation to Control Anti-Semitism and other groups who are trying to persuade the country that opposition to genocide is akin to support for Hitler. That message seems to be a tough sell. Yes. Anything might be possible when you have Robert Kraft's billions behind you. And I'm sure others billions behind, but again, we'll get into that later. Thoughts, Reef?
Well, I mean, you know how I feel about the whole thing. You know, Super Bowl is one of the biggest fucking military bootlicking, like, consumerist crap there is, So, I mean, sports in general at this point, it's tough to kind of compartmentalize that. I know people still try to, but like when the B-2 bombers go over every stadium every week, it's a little tough. But like, we got to sing the national anthem and, I mean, it's just not great for me, but, yeah, this is definitely targeted crap, like they're hoping for any optics or whatever all the time. I find it funny that they allow groups like that to put their message out, but they've never allowed like a legalized cannabis or like healthcare ad or any of those things into the Super Bowl, but this
like,
one,
God forbid, talk about
the
need for universal healthcare or like housing or any.
We all know why. The entire thing is owned by the richest. Like Miriam Adelson literally has her own football teams or did, so like not great, So, like, if we're going to boycott stuff, if that's what we're doing, make sure to do it to all the things that include the things, Like, if we're gonna not do Starbucks and McDonald's, which you shouldn't, maybe the NFL should be on the chopping block too. You won't miss it. You'll be fine. Like,
no.
So
I haven't really watched. I haven't. That's not to say I haven't watched football games since 2016. I have, but I'm not actively looking or caring anymore. So, I think the last time I actually watched a Super Bowl in full, when was it? When did I move here? Like 2018. And I only did because a friend invited me to a bar to watch it. So it was like, all right, I'll go. But not to mention, just in this case, don't care about Philly, didn't care about Kansas City, so wasn't gonna watch it anyway. The only thing that would have been worth watching would have been the commercials and the halftime show, which again we'll get into later. But I have thoughts about that too.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, putting a stick in Brady and Snoop is why we were probably demonetized, among other reasons. So if you want to support us, feel free to scan the QR code that you see on your screen or go to the Ko-fi link that you see at the bottom of that screen there. Or if you're in the YouTube chat, type in !donate, all one word, and the link will pop up in the chat where you're able to donate to us. Any little bit helps and we appreciate it. But we know a lot of you, money is tight. So the free way, and probably the best way to help us, is to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And please comment on our stuff and our our clips. You know, we love to hear from you. So what do you think about the underbelly in terms of these commercial Super Bowl ads, especially this ad that Robert Kraft had a hand in? Do you fucking hate the Patriots as much as? And I'm saying that for someone who lived in Boston
that for a long time.
Well, you know what? To be fair, like I hated Brady before all of this stuff of Brady came out. Like I liked him at first, but then he just got too big for his britches, and I'm just like, I can't fucking stand you. You know? And now I have more reasons why I can't stand it. Not to mention, I said, was it you or Indy? Like, he got divorced from Giselle. Like, no, how in the fuck could you let that go? How could you fuck that up?
Yep.
Right? Like, you're with one of the most hottest, well, say what you want, but like one of the most well-known models in the world, and you fuck that up? Like, what kind of fuck up are you?
Yeah.
But anyway, like, if you hate Brady, let us know in the comments. And help us get to free K so more people are able to see our content. And thanks for watching.